Hello again, everyone. I am here today with a very lovely and unique pen from Schon Designs. It is the Ultem pen. There was a very limited run at the beginning, and there were only 200 available, I believe, and I got one of the 200. So I'm essentially a beta tester for this pen because it seems like there will be some changes for future designs, but all improvements, I'm sure. And this is the same guy who makes the Pocket 6 pens. Here I have one and I'll show you, which come in a variety of styles. It's this one here. Let me zoom out just a little bit so you can get that in context there. So it's the same guy who makes these. They're all hand machined by him in his shop in Philadelphia. These are great. I find that they're a little bit expensive for a pocket pen, but they are really nice, and they do take a size 6 nib, which is lovely. I like that a lot about that, and gives you a lot of variety that you can potentially put in there as far as a nib goes. This also currently takes a size 6 Yowo nib, which I have in here. I've switched some nibs around and actually put a very special nib on this one now. But this is made out of what is called Ultem material, which is a very, very hard plastic. So this was able to be machined very, very thinly so that you have a very light pen. You can see the walls are super thin, and the natural color is this sort of golden yellow, which I really, really like. So it's a cartridge converter or eyedropper fill pen. I do want to say that if you are interested in one of these in the future, there is a waiting list. I would say also follow Schon Designs on Instagram, because that is the best way to get a notice about new batches coming out and all of that. One of the things that I'm really excited about for the future is that he's going to be making different sections for this pen. At least that's what he said. One of which will hold a size 8 Bach nib, which I've never used before, but I'm really excited to try. So I'm hoping that that will come out soon and be an improvement. And I think he's actually going to do a couple of different sections here, which would be based on what your preferred use of the pen will be. Right now there's all kinds of little washers in here to prevent leakage if you do make this into an eyedropper fill pen. There, I'll go ahead and open it here. One of my complaints, which I think he's already heard, is that it does take a lot of turns to get the bottom part of this pen off. There is a little I guess it's an O-ring. I should call them O-rings. Sometimes I call them washers. So there's a beautiful O-ring here, which is in this red material, which I really like as a contrast. And you don't even need to use silicone grease to fill this up as an eyedropper fill, because this will keep it completely sealed. But I'm just using it with a converter for now. There's also a couple more O-rings up in this part here so that the ink will not leak out where the nib is. And then there's another one in the cap here, which is quite nice. The pen feels super nice. It has a very nice feel to it. The grip section I also like very much. The actual cap itself doesn't take as many turns as the body does to take off. Let's see, it's like 1, 2, 3, I would say. Part of the reason I've been asked before to do a count of how many turns it takes to uncap the pens on the caps on pens. And part of the reason why I'm a little hesitant to do that is because I have very small hands, so I might not necessarily, the number of turns that it takes me to take the cap off may not be the number of turns that it takes you to take the cap off. And I don't know if there's sort of a standard for, you know, how to measure turns. So I apologize for not doing that consistently, but that's the reason why I haven't been doing it, just because I don't know that it's necessarily going to be accurate for you. And I don't want to give you information and say, hey, it's 3 turns. And then you come back and you be, wait a minute, it was only 2 turns or whatever. Because I just don't know if there's a standard way that that's measured. For me, it's 3 turns on this pen. For you, it might be different number of turns. So the nib, so it just came with a standard size 6 Yowo nib. I just got a medium because, you know, you can never have too many medium nibs around, in my opinion. Fine and medium are kind of what I go to if I don't know what to do for just a standard nib. But I have put on here a Franklin Christoph Bold Architect nib that was ground by Mark Bacchus. It's a very special nib. It's one of my favorite nibs that I have because I love the Bacchus grinds and I love Franklin Christoph. So you can post this pen. It posts very securely and it's very, very light. You could use it posted or unposted. It's a little bit short unposted, but I could go either way. The weight difference and the balance does not change very much. And it's actually a very well balanced pen. Sorry, let me get that in frame there. All right, so I'm going to do a quick writing sample, but just note that, your writing sample with this particular pen is really going to depend on what nib you put in it. If you just put a standard Yowo medium nib, it's going to, write like a standard medium nib, but this has a little bit of a special nib in it. So this is the Schon Designs Ultem pen. And that's just the name of it for now. Oh, not pen. It's been my problem lately. Okay, so, and then I have a Franklin Christoph Broad Architect nib by Mark Bacchus. See, I've spelled it wrong before with 2 C's, and now I can't remember if it's a C in the mark or a K. I apologize. I'm a fan of your nib grinds if you ever end up seeing my videos, but he's also known as the nib grinder. And has his own website. This is one of the very first specialty grind that I got as a gift from my husband was from the nib grinder, and it was a medium architect, and I think it has fueled my love of custom nib grinds. The hallmarks of an architect nib: small or fine downstroke lines and wide side-to-side grinds. This is a little bit different, I think. I think this might be called either, a curved architect, maybe. It's basically a little bit smoother than just a standard architect, which could feel a little crisp or sharp sometimes. And it's a little bit better for cursive writing. The ink that's in here is Sailor Manyo Yomagi. Oops. I had this paired with this nib before in the other pen I had it in. I loved this combination so much. This ink makes this nib just glide on paper, and it's lovely. So I'm not going to do any more of a sample than that because, like I said, it really does depend on what nib you end up putting in your pen. But this pen itself is really nice, and I feel like I have a lot of flexibility as to how I can use it because of the different nib choices I can put on here. I always used to wonder, why would I want another Yowo type pen that holds a Yowo size 6 nib? I mean, how many of those can I really own? But what I found is that it does allow for so much customization, which is fun with the nibs. So that's kind of why I have a larger collection than I used to of those types of pens. And this is one of those pens, but it's also very lovely to look at. It's machined very, very well with thought, and I've never met the person who owns Schon Designs and makes the pens, but I've heard that he's a lovely person. Someday I hope to go to some pen shows and maybe meet some of these people that make all these really cool pens. But when I really started getting super into, all the dynamics of fountain pens, we were already into the pandemic. I was collecting before then, but now I'm like, I really have been fiddling with them with some of my spare time. And I was actually right before the pandemic. I was thinking I should really go to a pen show this year. And then the pandemic happened. So will I go this upcoming year? I don't know. I don't know how things are going. I don't know if they're going to have them. I will be fully vaccinated, so hopefully that helps. But we'll see. I mean, it helps me at the very least. But of course, I would I would wear a mask and all that stuff to protect other people, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, that's all I had to say about this lovely Ultem pen. If you want one in the future, which may look a little bit different from this one, I can't guarantee that it'll look identical, get on the wait list. I will put a link down below to the website for Schon Designs. And like I said, Instagram is a great place to find the latest and greatest from this company. All right, well, that's all I had for you today. Feel free to subscribe to keep track of future videos on my channel. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like. I hope to see you next time, but in the meantime, have a great day. Thanks so much. Bye.